Hello everybody, it's me, Biliah the Sega Gamer, and welcome back to the Sonic CD LP. Now we're one of my second least favorite water zone. Don't worry, it's not Labyrinth Zone, but it's close, and that is Tidal Tempest. Is there anything I gotta explain? It's just Labyrinth Zone, but on steroids. Well, anyway, like I said before, the concept is the same. You gotta go back to the past to restore a robot generator. I actually find the robot generators here, just like Collision Chaos, to be piss easy than it was. Collision Chaos, Act 2 and Act 1 sort of has a similar level design. Act 1, you go through a tube, and then you jump through the tube, and then you find yourself a robot, you pass a robot generator, then you end up passing a robot generator, and then you jump. Act 2 is a little bit tricky. See how you have to take the bottom route? The painful underwater bottom route, but that's the only way you can get the robot generator. Well, anyway, Tidal Tempest, yeah, it's like Labyrinth Zone. Yeah, you're gonna see a lot of concept that Nato Oshima did, that he wanted to make his own version of Sonic 2. You know, reuse levels. You reuse some level concepts from Sonic 1, like, for instance, we already saw Palm Tree Panic, and that was supposed to be like an improved Green Hill Zone. You know, improve upon those previous zones and make them like faster, and I can't say longer. Make them faster and more unique than the original. But to be honest, though, at least Sonic 2 had something new. Some of these levels in Sonic CD feel somewhat rehash. And again, let's not forget the dick level design. Oh god, I hate the level design. Well, anyway, while we're talking about Amy Rose, let me talk about Sonic's development. I was gonna mention this in my Sonic 1 playthrough, but let's mention it today. Well, Amy Rose wasn't going to be Sonic's love interest. Oh, no. Sonic actually was going to have a human love interest named Madonna, seeing how she was, you know, the hot artist of the 90s. But seeing how Madeline Schroeder wanted to censor everything, because, you know, during this time of video games, and Mortal Kombat, and of course the ESRB system, they wanted to make Sonic the Hedgehog, let's say, for everybody, for kids and adults, mainly for teenagers and adults. But what if kids were playing on the Sega Genesis? You never might know. Some kids may not grow up with NES. I know K-Wing's wife did not even grow up with an NES. Personally, like me, I didn't even grow up with Nintendo consoles. The only Nintendo console I had a little bit during the time I was exposed to was the N64 and GameCube and the Game Boy Advance. But you don't want to hear that. You want to hear the reason why Sonic was censored in the States. Well, they were going to make Sonic edgy, because nobody even heard of a hedgehog. Same thing with Crash Bandicoot in Japan, but that was a phenomenal there. And I know Sonic is more popular in the Western states now, and more of an icon for Sega, but you know, back in the early 90s when they were making their mascot, they were going to give Sonic fangs, a rock band, even a human girlfriend Madonna. But again, Madeline Schroeder had to censor everything, and that's what some Sega games were censored. I can name a couple: Night Trap, Space Channel 5, you know, a couple of games that were censored to the public. There was a hidden scene in Landstalker, which I'll probably do a playthrough. And of course, There's Toe Jammer 03, bunch of sexual innuendos. That's why that game is rated T for T instead of rated E for everybody, like the previous two reincarnations. And Skies of Arcadia, the Dreamcast version, where Aika has her hair down. She looks sexually attractive. Well, this was the 90s, where Sega did edgy shit. Good times, good times. Sega, you suck! Well, anyway, we're done with Tidal Tempest. I already explained about the two robot generators. If you saw the gameplay, you know where to hit them. Well, anyway, I think I already did show the special stage, so I pretty much cut it out. Well, yeah, Sega wasn't the only one doing edgy shit back in the 90s. But it was Rare, which I will get into because that was the company that fully got me into Nintendo games. But we're not talking about Donkey Kong and Banjo-Kazooie. We're talking about Sonic and Sega. My name is Biliah, the Sega gamer. But you know, when I talk about video game companies being edgy, two comes to mind is Sega, Rare, and Capcom. Yeah, those companies suck now, I know. This isn't the good old days, the 90s. Now I remember, I lost on purpose because I already showed the stage. Just to let you know, this is post-commentated and shit like that. Well, anyway, here is the good feature of Tidal Tempest. The bad... Oh, I forgot to mention the soundtrack before I do. I love both the American soundtrack for Tidal Tempest for this stage and the Japanese soundtrack. I like the Japanese soundtrack more, so you know it's like ambient. But then again, the American soundtrack has that catchy vibe, especially with the women singing in the background. Da 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 do, da 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 do. But you already heard it during gameplay footage if you can hear the music. Well, anyway, for this boss, it has to be one of the most stupidest boss fights ever that Dr.Robotink ever did. Basically, Dr. Robotnik has his bubble force field, and you thought it would be impossible, but no, it's actually piss easy. And the only thing you gotta avoid are the projectiles and crap like that. Well, anyway, what I was gonna say? I forgot I was gonna say something. Oh yeah, now I remember. Right now you're listening to the American boss theme. You already listened to the Japanese boss theme where they have that psychedelic rap and shit like that. Like, take that diggity. Come on, yeah, take that crap. In this version, it's more threatening and more atmospheric and medicine. Well, anyway, I'll explain more later. This is loud as